Discover the incredible stories revealed in our 2026 calendar. Inspired lives await the final chapter of Riverton. Emma Thompson's heart raced as she unwrapped the new 2026 calendar, each page brimming with stories that pulsed with life, hope, and undeniable strength. Her fingers trembled as she turned to January, revealing the grizzled war veteran, Bob, who dedicated his days to rallying change in Riverton. Just a small-town diner waitress, Emma often felt invisible. But these faces, these heroes, ignited something within her. She pinned the calendar on her kitchen wall, a vibrant reminder that life could be more than the mundane. In Riverton. Every corner held a tale, every person a reason to push forward. Emma's gaze moved to March, the elderly couple who ran the town's bakery, a place where sweet smells wafted through the air, creating bursts of joy that temporarily masked the town's struggles. Each month brought a surge of inspiration alongside a heavy weight of isolation. She was alone, trying to raise her two energetic kids on slim wages, serving greasy burgers and coffee to grumpy customers, while internally battling the loneliness that crept in at night. The shattered pieces of her marriage haunted her like a ghost, whispering doubts about stability and love as she flipped through the pages. Her chest tightened at reminders of her estranged father, Joe, a factory worker laid off to automation. He had left when she was a teenager, taking with him pieces of Emma's childhood that felt forever lost. The calendar morphed from a symbol of hope into a mirror showcasing her unresolved anger, a taut string vibrating with tension. Yet, something glimmered on the horizon. Perhaps these stories of resilience could break down the icy walls she built around her heart. She thought. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the months rolled on, Emma found herself more and more involved with the community, inspired by the tales of ordinary folks overcoming dire circumstances. And it wasn't too long before her own story caught the local newspaper's eye, a narrative of perseverance that resonated with many. Suddenly, the weight of loneliness began to lift, replaced by empowerment. Emma felt her place in this tapestry of human experience weaving tighter every day. But then came the storm. Dark clouds rolled ominously over Riverton one fateful afternoon. Rain hammered down, and the river swelled dangerously toward the streets, threatening to engulf their homes. Panic spread through the heart of the town, but so did a spark of solidarity. Emma joined her neighbors, fighting against nature with resilience that echoed through her bones. Amidst the chaos, whispers buzzed about her father volunteering for the cleanup. As she stood knee-deep in muddy water, they crossed paths. Their past surged to the surface, raw and untamed. Under the dim streetlights, drenched and vulnerable, Emma confronted Joe, words choking her throat. The air crackled with tension as the storm raged outside. She faced a moment that could unearth buried tsunamis of hurt or pave a path toward healing. With emotions swirling like the wind around them, the unresolved questions lingered in the air. Could they chase away the darkness and find a flicker of understanding together? Emma took a deep breath, the damp air heavy with rain and memories. The moment felt surreal, like standing on the edge of an abyss. Her heart raced, each thump echoing in her ears. The world around them faded into a distant roar. It was just the two of them now, poised at the crossroads of a relationship fractured long ago. "I can't believe you're here," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. The floodwaters swirled around them, relentless as the tide of emotions churning inside her. Joe's face was lined with worry, but there was something softer in his gaze. "I had to come back, Emma. I heard about the storm. I wanted to help," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. "I never wanted to leave you like that." Walls began to crumble, even if just a bit. It was difficult for Emma to go there, to dare to believe in a shared future when their past was a storm of resentment. It would be easy to let anger overshadow the brief flicker of hope inside her. But she let herself speak, letting the words tumble out. You left us. Mom, she needed you. I needed you. I know, Joe said, his voice cracking. I made mistakes, terrible ones. I wish I could take them back. His eyes glistened under the flickering streetlight, allowing Emma to see the fragility of his facade. The weight of unspoken words hung between them, heavy but tangible, begging for release. The chaotic sounds of the town around them faded as the rain quieted to a drizzle, as if the world itself was holding its breath. In that tense silence, Emma's thoughts drifted to the calendar still tacked to her wall, each story of resilience, a reminder that she could overcome. What if this moment could be their own story of resilience? Do you have any idea what you put us through? She pressed, feeling a surge of fear. What if she couldn't forgive? What if they were too broken to mend? I do. I was lost, Emma. I let my pride take me away from what mattered most, he said, stepping closer, reaching out as if he could touch the threads of their shared history. But I'm here now. I want to be part of your lives again if you'll let me. Her heart quivered as she looked into his eyes. The man standing before her was not the shadow from her past, but a figure shining through the storm. But could she trust him again? The question left her lips unfiltered. What if I can't? A moment of hesitation. Joe swallowed hard, the tension stretching between them. Then we start small. One step at a time. But I'm here for you, really here. Emma studied him closely, the agony of their irreparable past wrestling with the glimmer of potential for rebirth. Her children depended on her strength to guide them. But could she carve a new path for them, a path that allowed for the unpredictable twists of healing? As the rain began to ease, the darkness seemed less oppressive. Hope dared to bubble to the surface, mingling with uncertainty. In this moment, standing on the threshold of reuniting with the father she thought she'd lost forever, she felt a kindling of something new, courage. Okay, she finally said, the word a fragile ember but bright enough to spark a flicker of possibility. Let us try. Together. Before she could second-guess herself, a soft rumble of thunder echoed in the distance, warning of change to come. Was this the beginning of something beautiful, or was it just the calm before yet another storm? As they stood shoulder to shoulder, watching the last of the rain wash away the turmoil, a shared breath of understanding lingered in the air. They were in unknown waters, and the tide was shifting. But neither of them knew how deep the depths really were or what they might uncover as the floodgates of their past continued to open. Emma felt a wave of warmth surge through her as Joe's words settled in the space between them. The weight of their past hung heavily, yet here they stood, tentative but hopeful, ready to take the first steps forward. She noticed the slight tremor in his hands, the way he clenched and unclenched his fists, as if willing time to rewind just a little longer to erase his mistakes. I need to know you mean it, she said, trying to keep her voice steady despite the flutter in her chest. That you're not just here for the storm, for the drama. Joe nodded slowly, his brow furrowing deeper. No, Emma, it's more than just now. I've thought about how I hurt you and your mom every single day. I want to be a part of your lives again. Not just during storms, but every day. I want to be a father. Even the sound of father stung like a sharp edge against her tender memories. But it also sparked something she had almost buried, longing for that connection. For a family she thought was lost. Look, I can't promise it'll be easy. Emma softened her tone, her throat tightening as she recalled their shared laughter, kitchen chaos, and the warmth of having him close. There's a lot to unravel. Can you handle the mess? Joe took a step closer, closing the distance. I've lived through my own mess. I can handle yours. His voice, now steady, broke through the veil of hesitation. Emma blinked back tears. His sincerity was refreshing, yet fear moored her like a stone. Her thoughts flickered to her children. Could they accept him back into their lives? Would she be brave enough to allow it? As if sensing her thoughts, Joe continued, I want to meet them. I want to show them I can be the father you all need. He sighed, his breath visible in the chilled air. I know it'll be tough. I'm not asking for instant acceptance. Just a chance. The drizzle now felt more like a caress. The sound of droplets became a soothing melody filling the silence around them. Emma took a moment, allowing herself to picture that chance. what it would mean for her kids, for herself. It was a narrative filled with potential, a new path drawn in the sand. What about the past? She challenged softly, searching his gaze. What do we do with that? We acknowledge it, he said, his voice earnest, but we don't let it define us. It's a part of our story, but it doesn't have to be the ending. We can write a new chapter together. Just then, in the distance, a flicker of lightning illuminated the horizon, reminding Emma that even the darkest storms could give way to brilliance. It was a message coded in nature, a sign of hope wrapped in the unknown. Incredible, this really is a moment, she realized aloud, her heart fluttering with a mix of fear and exhilaration. Would they choose to leap together into the next chapter? I'm ready, he said, a determination glimmering in his eyes. Whenever you are. But even as she felt that spark of courage inside, a nagging uncertainty crept into her mind. What if the weight of the past was too heavy to bear? What if they could not escape the storms? The thought wrapped around her heart, threatening to crush the budding hope they had just begun to nurture. As the final droplets of rain kissed the ground, Emma knew they were at a precipice, staring into a foggy future where anything could happen. With trembling hands, she took a step back, measuring the distance not just between them but into the unknown. Then let us meet tomorrow. At home. Joe's face lit up, a rush of relief washing over him. I won't disappoint you, Emma. But as they turned to leave, uncharted emotions thrumming in their chests. A low rumble of thunder echoed again, deeper this time, as if the storm itself were warning them of what lay ahead. What revelations awaited them in her home? What memories would rise from the depths when they opened those floodgates? The sun peeked through thick, gray clouds as Emma stood in her kitchen, the familiar scent of coffee swirling around her. Mornings had been quieter since Joe had left. Now, with him potentially re-entering their lives, the air felt charged, alive. She poured herself a cup, her hands shaking slightly as she pondered the conversation from the night before. Would Joe really be there for the long haul? The promises came easy in the heat of the moment, but they were lists of dreams built on shaky ground. With her children, it was even more complicated. Her heart ached at the uncertainty. What if they couldn't see past the past? The sound of laughter pulled her from her thoughts. Sam and Lucy were already busy arguing playfully over cereal. Their faces shone with innocence, untouched by the baggage Emma carried. In that moment, she felt hope. Maybe they could all find a way to weave the past and future together. Mom, can you help us choose? Lucy called out, her big eyes sparkling, cereal pieces nearly tumbling off her bowl in excitement. She walked over to the table, ruffling Lucy's hair. What choices do I have? Team Fruit Loops or Team Lucky Charms? Sam said, puffing out his chest as if he were presenting the world's most important decision. Emma chuckled, letting their silly debate chase away the shadows clinging to her thoughts. Well, Team Fruit Loops has a rainbow on the box. That's got to count for something, right? As the kids cheered, her phone buzzed against the counter. It was a simple message. Can we talk? From Joe. The weight of it hung in the air, and for a moment, she simply stared at the screen, realizing how quickly they would all be stepping into unknown territory. What do you think we should do? She asked them, taking a chance to involve her children. While maybe this wasn't the exact conversation she anticipated, their opinions mattered. What are we talking about? Lucy said, her curiosity piqued. Just an old friend wants to see us again. Emma replied cautiously, gauging their reactions. Old friends are good, right, Sam? Lucy grinned, unimpressed by any anxious glance Emma had shot her way. Sam shrugged, still furrowing his brow. As long as they're not weird or have those strange smells. Emma couldn't help but smile at their innocence. Well, this one doesn't have strange smells, I promise. Just food. Lucy giggled, and Emma couldn't resist a laugh. But once the laughter faded, she faced her own nerves again. She wanted to protect her kids, to keep them safe from possible hurt. But she also remembered the love they could share, the life they could rebuild. Okay, here's the thing, Emma said, lowering her voice slightly. This friend, he wants to be a part of our lives again. I need you both to know that it might be a bit tricky initially. What do you think about meeting him? Will he bring donuts? Sam asked, the thought of treats extracurricular to the weight of the decision lifting his spirits. "Only for you, buddy," Emma said, her voice light. "But really, all I need is for you to be open-minded. We can make it a family thing. I'm okay with meeting him. Let us see if he can beat us in a serial battle," Lucy exclaimed, now fully invested as Emma watched their faces light up. A new flicker of hope ignited within her. Maybe they could do this together, learn to navigate the messy and the beautiful parts of loving someone. The doorbell rang, causing her heart to skip. Would it really happen this fast? She opened the door to find Joe standing there, looking apprehensive but determined, bouncing slightly on his heels. "Hey," he said, voice softer than the weight of the moment suggested. "So I guess we're doing this?" Emma's pulse quickened. She wanted to pull away, yet she felt her kid's excitement humming beneath her skin like a gentle current. "Yeah, we are." She steered Joe back into the kitchen. The clanging of dishes mixed with curious giggles from Lucy and Sam, their youthful energy filling the room as they eyed Joe apprehensively. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, a mix of joy, fear, and uncertainty wrapping around them, like a warm blanket. But deep down, all Emma could feel was hope. What would unfold in this kitchen? Would they open the floodgates to laughter or to unresolved feelings buried under years of regret? As Joe stepped into the kitchen, his presence transformed the cozy space. The bright walls surrounding them, freshly painted every shade of sunny, seemed to darken slightly, cloaking them in the warmth of nostalgia mixed with unanswered questions. Sam and Lucy exchanged glances, uncertainty dancing behind their wide eyes, while Emma's heart raced as she sensed both hope and trepidation. Hi," Joe said, glancing at the cereal-strewn table, and then quickly locking onto Emma's eyes. The comfort of familiarity hung in the air, entwined with the weight of all they had lost. "Thanks for having me over." "Of course," Emma replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "The kids are excited to meet you, are we?" Sam piped up, his innocent tone breaking the tension. He offered a defiant glance toward Joe, as if sizing him up for a potential cereal showdown. Joe chuckled softly, making an immediate connection. "Well, I brought a special treat for you, too." He reached into the canvas bag slung over his shoulder and withdrew a box of donuts, the smell wafting through the air like a sugary beacon. "Donuts?" Lucy squealed, her cheeks brightening. "You brought donuts?" "Yep. Thought you might like a little something while we chat," he said, a soft smile cracking through. For a second, the atmosphere shifted. Donuts had the power to breach walls, and the kids dove into the box, pulling out the sugary treasures as if they were gold. Laughter erupted, filling the kitchen. Emma leaned against the counter, watching with newfound hope twirling in her chest. This was the bridge she had imagined, something small yet significant. "So, are you Team Fruit Loops or Team Lucky Charms?" Lucy asked, her mouth half full of raspberry-filled goodness, the syrupy sweetness running down her chin. "Fruit Loops all the way," Joe replied with an earnest grin, glancing at Emma for approval. "See?" Emma chimed in, her own smile growing. "That's at least 1 point for him." As their playful banter continued, Emma watched Joe closely. He was trying. He seemed more grounded than before, but she couldn't ignore the shadows lingering in his eyes. Did he really understand what this moment represented? Was he truly ready to step back into their world? Or was he seeking a glimpse of a past he could never fully reclaim? "Mom?" Sam's serious tone broke through Emma's thoughts. "Does he really want to stay?" Emma hesitated, feeling the enormity of the question. "That's what we're figuring out, buddy. Sometimes people need a little time to find their way back." Joe met her gaze, the hint of vulnerability flickering in his expression. This was the pivotal moment. Would he address it head-on, or would they skim over the surface of what needed to be said? "Look, kids," Joe started, taking a deep breath. "There's a lot that's happened between me and your mom. I made mistakes, but I want to make things right. I hope to be part of your lives again, if you'll let me." The room fell silent. Sam and Lucy exchanged glances, their innocent faces contemplating the weight of his words. Emma's heart tightened. Would this be the turning point, or the start of new wounds? Suddenly, Lucy piped up, "Can you make us ice cream sundae battles too?" The innocence in her voice cut through the tension like a fresh breeze. "Absolutely," Joe replied, looking genuinely relieved, and that infectious smile returned to his face. "But only if you promise to let me win sometimes." "Not a chance." Sam laughed, breaking the lingering heaviness as the kids erupted into chatter about how they could plan out their ice cream extravaganza. Laughter filled the kitchen once more. Emma couldn't help but feel a flicker of warmth. Despite the uncertainty, maybe today would mark the beginning of a new chapter of healing, of togetherness, and a chance to rewrite their story. But as the laughter swirled around them, Emma's mind whirred. Could they truly find that middle ground, a way to move forward without being haunted by the past? Just then, her phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number flashed on the screen. "I know about Joe. Be careful her." Stomach nodded. What was that supposed to mean? As Emma stared at her phone, the buoyancy of the moment felt overshadowed by something darker lurking just beneath the surface. What truths were waiting to reveal themselves? And how would those truths alter everything they were beginning to build? Emma's heart raced as she read the words again, each letter pulling her deeper into unease. "I know about Joe. Be careful." The message felt like a bomb buried beneath the surface of a peaceful lake, ready to explode at any moment. She forced a smile as Lucy showed Joe her half-eaten donut, excitedly recounting her favorite flavor. But the vibrant colors of the kitchen faded as Emma's mind replayed the past, how trusting Joe had led to heartbreak before. Was history going to repeat itself? The laughter around her grew muffled, and she felt the walls begin to close in. She couldn't shake off that message. Whoever sent it knew something. What could it mean for this moment of reuniting? "Are you okay, Mom?" Sam's voice broke through her swirling thoughts, innocent and filled with concern. Emma nodded, forcing her smile to widen. "Of course, buddy. Just thinking about how awesome those Sundays are going to be." "But—" Sam narrowed his eyes, as if he could sense her hesitation. Joe's gaze turned serious, and he leaned in. "Hey, if anything's bothering you, it's okay to talk about it. We're all in this together." His sincerity was soothing, but Emma remained guarded. "It's just a lot to process, you know? Right?" Joe nodded, a shadow flickering across his face, like a cloud passing over the sun. "I get that. I really do. But the important thing is that we're here now, and I'm willing to work hard whatever it takes." For a brief moment, hope ignited within her. Maybe he was genuine, but the message sat heavily on her mind, like an anchor dragging her down. "Could you pass the sprinkles?" Joe asked Lucy, who was busy wiping her hands on her shirt. "Sugar everywhere." "Coming right up," she chirped, pouring sprinkles all over her donut like it was the most important task in the world. Watching her children brought a bittersweet ache to Emma's heart. They deserved happiness, stability. But how could she protect them? The kitchen door creaked open, echoing the faded memories of happier times. Emma's mind flickered back to the nights they all spent making messes and sharing stories, a warmth now under threat. The phone buzzed again this time. Emma ignored it. "All right, what's the plan for these ice cream sundaes?" "I want to set a world record," she shouted, the words spilling out like sunshine breaking through clouds. She needed the kids to forget the tension, even if it was just for a moment. Lucy and Sam assembled their toppings, the excitement infectious. Emma tried to join in, putting her worries aside to see the delight on their faces. They began brainstorming elaborate Sunday designs, laughter spilling from one child to another, and Joe even chimed in with silly ideas. Yet beneath that cheerful noise, Emma felt a tension building somewhere deep inside her. Later, as they gathered around the table, Joe raised his sundae dramatically, to new beginnings. He proclaimed, his eyes searching Emma's for affirmation. They were all supposed to participate, to laugh like a real family again. But inside Emma, nerves tightened like strings under pressure. "New beginnings," she echoed softly, uncertain about what shape those would take. Just then, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with that unknown number. She felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, the shadows creeping back into their sunny kitchen. Taking a deep breath, she slid the phone closer and opened the message. It wasn't just a warning. It was an ultimatum, and it hit her like a freight train. When you least expect it, the truth will come out. Choose wisely. Emma's pulse quickened. What truth? What choice? It felt like a countdown to a storm brewing on the horizon. Would Joe be strong enough to withstand it? As she looked up at him, that flicker of warmth battled with uncertainty in her chest. She wanted to believe in the hopeful path ahead. But in the back of her mind, the message loomed ominous, urging her to cautiously navigate this new chapter before the truth set everything ablaze. Would she have the strength to confront the shadows of their past before they invaded their future? Before Emma could collect her thoughts, Lucy's voice broke through. "Mom, can I have a cherry on top?" Emma forced her smile again. But inside, the uncertainty felt as thick as the whipped cream in her sundae. Would those cherries symbolize sweetness? Or would they become a bitter reminder of what they might still lose? With her heart racing, she glanced back down at her phone. But the next messages were already arriving. Emma's fingers trembled as she stared at the screen, her heart pounding in her chest. The messages from the unknown number kept coming, each one pressing deeper into her mind. She had to act, but panic began to claw at her edges, and she felt suffocated by the weight of it all. Mom? The cherry?" Lucia's sweet voice broke through her fog. Emma blinked, trying to shake off the mental chains gripping her. "Right. Cherry on top." Emma forced herself back into the moment, summoning an energy she didn't quite feel. The kitchen was filled with sweet chaos, scoops of ice cream melting under bright sprinkles, the sound of plastic spoons clinking and children giggling. It was the kind of scene she had always dreamed of. But the thrill was tempered by the nagging uncertainty lurking at the back of her mind. Maybe I should set some boundaries, she thought, glancing at Joe. His laughter rang out, vibrant and carefree, each chuckle tugging at her heartstrings. In that moment he looked so earnest, so inviting. But how could she trust him again when those shadows of their past hovered nearby, whispering doubts and fears? "Emma," Joe said softly, as if sensing the whirlpool of conflict inside her. "You all right?" The children were distracted, but for Emma, the world shrunk down to just the two of them. Everything else faded away, the sprinkles, the ice cream, even the delicious smell of sugar wafting through the air. "I am trying to be," she replied, vulnerability creeping through her voice. Sam plopped down at the table, grinning ear to ear. "Can we eat now? I'm starving." His wide eyes sparkled with youthful excitement, pulling Emma momentarily from her dark thoughts. "Sure, let us dig in," she announced, masking her turmoil with a smile. They all scooped up their Sunday creations, laughter bubbling around them like a gentle stream. But as Joe took a bite of his masterpiece, his brow furrowed slightly. "You know, about that message you got," he began, glancing at Emma with a seriousness that made her stomach tighten. "Joe, please, not now," she cut in, fear knotting in her chest. The joy around them felt fragile, on the verge of shattering if the wrong words were spoken. He paused, his spoon hovering midair. Sam and Lucy were deep in their sugared concoctions, oblivious to the tension crackling in the air. "Okay, but I want to be here for you, Emma." He took a deep breath, his eyes holding hers. "I can handle it. Promise." His sincerity radiated warmth. For a fleeting moment, she felt she could lean into it. But the shadow's wooden tea let her forget the ultimatum loomed heavily, reminding her of the fork in the road she faced. Lucy interjected, waving her spoon in excitement, syrup dripping down her chin. "Mom, can we skip the serious stuff? This is ice cream time." Emma laughed softly, another flicker of warmth igniting. "You're right, kiddo. Ice cream first." They finished their sundaes, their laughter filling the room. But with every giggle, Emma couldn't shake the thought that the moment of truth was fast approaching. She needed to decide. Then Lucy pulled out a card from under her plate. "What's this?" Emma's heart dropped at the sight. It was a small, handwritten note. Her name was scrawled on it, with an arrow pointing to the message that held power over her happiness. "I know about Joe." Her breath hitched. "No, not now." Feeling a lump in her throat, she snatched the card from Lucia's hand. Every ounce of joy during that Sunday moment felt threatened with this simple slip of paper. "What's wrong, Mom?" Sam asked, his innocent eyes searching hers. Emma's mind raced. She had to protect them. But how? And was she ready for the truth? With trembling hands, she placed the card down, clearing her throat. Nothing, sweetheart. Just a surprise from the ice cream fairy. But the unease remained, like a whisper urging her to act. Would she risk everything she had rebuilt with Joe? Or could she find a way forward without tearing them apart again? The kitchen felt small, and shadows stretched farther as she looked to Joe. His expression morphed with worry, and Emma knew. They were at a tipping point. As the laughter echoed around her, she felt the storm in her heart grow louder. Was she prepared to face the terrible truth lurking just beneath the surface? The phone buzzed again, breaking through her swirling thoughts. Emma's heart raced. What could it say this time? And would it push her to make the hardest decision of her life? Emma held the card tightly, her knuckles white against the little slip of paper. The room spun around her, the laughter growing distant as if she were underwater. The kids were oblivious, their joy so pure it tugged painfully at her heart. She forced herself to breathe, to focus on the warmth of the kitchen, the melting ice cream, the sticky sweetness of splattered syrup. "Mom?" Lucia's voice broke through again, this time laced with genuine concern. "Are you sad?" Emma looked down at her daughter's innocent face, and the lump in her throat only grew. How could she burden them with her fears? Shaking her head, she pulled on a smile. "No, just a little surprised. I didn't know the ice cream fairy didn't take cards." "Can I read it?" Lucy asked, her curiosity piqued, reaching for it. Emma instinctively hid it behind her back. Maybe later. For now, how about a game? Who wants to play some cards?" She didn't wait for their answer, grabbing a deck from the counter, desperate for a distraction. "Me!" Sam shouted, bouncing in his seat. "I'm the best card player ever." "Really? Just like Dad?" Emma teased lightly, looking at Joe, hoping for a moment of normalcy. But his eyes were still focused on her, that worry still etched on his face. "Okay, let us see what you've got," Emma announced, forcing a playful tone. It was difficult to shake the feeling wrapped around her heart like a vice, but she didn't want to ruin their happiness. They deserved it, didn't they? As they played, the children chattered and giggled, but Emma's mind was a jaded landscape. Each card dealt was a reminder of the choice that loomed, and her heart raced with each ring of her phone. With every buzz, guilt seeped deeper. What did that message mean for them? At one point, Joe dropped his cards and leaned closer. "Emma, if we don't talk about it now, when will we?" "Joe," she hissed, glancing at the children. The laughter continued, but the heat of their past weighed heavily in the air. "We are not doing this right now." His brow furrowed, and just for a moment, she saw the helplessness in his eyes. "I care about you, Emma. I just want to know how to help." In that instant, the world around them blurred, and it was just the two of them, standing on the brink of where they once were and where they could go. A flood of emotions surged within her, a mix of love and fear, hope and despair. "Help," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Don't you see? It's me who needs to figure it out. It's about trust. It's about a sudden crash from the kitchen made them both jump." Lucy and Sam had knocked over a bowl, ice cream splattering everywhere like a colorful explosion. Their laughter erupted again, filling the space with a chaotic innocence that broke the tension between Emma and Joe. "Okay, clean up time," Emma called out, relief washing over her. At least they had a messy distraction. As they scrabbled to clear up the mess, the buzzing of her phone continued, and she felt the weight returning, each vibration a reminder of the looming storm. She stole a glance at Joe, who was quietly picking up sprinkles from the floor, his jaw set with concern. Maybe I could just tell him the truth, Emma thought briefly, but the thought was dismissed just as quickly. Could she really lay everything bare? The kids needed stability first. Once the chaos settled, and the laughter began to fade into bashful giggles at their messy kitchen, Emma caught her breath. "Hey, everyone, how about we make a big Sunday together?" Emma suggested brightly, masking her inner turmoil with forced cheer. As they gathered ingredients again, the intimate moments felt fragile, especially knowing the truth was hovering just beneath. Would Joe still want to help her after she shared her fears? Would the truth shatter the little sanctuary they had built? The house felt brighter, filled with giggles, but deep down, Emma knew that shadows were waiting for their moment. The phone buzzed again, and she felt her heart race. What would it say this time? What was the next step in the revelation that threatened all they had? I should probably check, Emma thought, stealing a glance at the screen. But just as she reached for it, she caught Joe's gaze piercing past the smiles. And in that instant she realized something had to give. Would she push the truth away? Or would she finally confront the darkness that haunted the edges of their love? With her heart thundering, she made up her mind. The time had come to face it, whatever it might bring. But first, ice cream. Would it be enough to shield her from the inevitable? Emma's heart was still racing as she gathered the ingredients for the sundae. The kitchen felt warm and bright, but the weight of secrets pressed against her, dulling the sweetness of the moment. She forced herself to focus, pulling the ice cream from the freezer, scooping generous servings into bowls while Lucy and Sam clambered over the counter, eager to add toppings. Sprinkles, Sam yelled, nearly knocking over a jar in his excitement. Careful, buddy, Emma laughed, a sound tinged with nerves. She glanced at Joe, who had slipped away to check on the news, leaving her momentarily alone. The buzzing from her phone was relentless. Every vibration echoed the questions gnawing at her mind. Mom, look, Lucy squealed, tilting her bowl to reveal a mountain of sprinkles precariously balanced atop the ice cream. Her eyes sparkled with mischief. Wow, that's a serious sundae, Lucy. You might just win the title of ice cream champion. Emma cheered, playing along. But inside, her thoughts churned. While the kids busied themselves with toppings, Emma watched them, her heart aching. She had built this life for them, one filled with laughter, games, and love. But now the very foundation felt fragile, ready to crumble. Would revealing her truth shatter their perfect little world? Joe returned, and the moment he stepped into the kitchen, the energy shifted. Emma met his eyes, searching for reassurance, but found only concern. He opened his mouth to speak, but she waved him off, desperate to keep the playful atmosphere alive. Okay, everyone, who's ready to dig in? The children squealed in delight. Sam and Lucy grabbed their bowls, precariously balancing them as they moved to the table. Emma's heart swelled with affection, but a flicker of fear still tugged at her. What would they do when the truth surfaced? As the kids devoured their sundaes, laughter filled the kitchen again, but it felt like a temporary reprieve. Emma's attempt to be present slipped away with each bite. She snuck a look at her phone again, the unease growing like an insistent itch. Hey, can you pass me the chocolate syrup? Joe asked, breaking her reverie. Emma turned to him, noticing how he was trying to maintain a light mood. Sure, she replied, her voice a little too bright. She grabbed the bottle and handed it over, trying to read his expression. He was still worried, still searching for the right moment to talk. With every passing second, the air thickened with uncertainty. The children's giggles faded into the background as the thought engulfed her. How long could she put off the conversation that needed to happen? Suddenly, the phone buzzed again, louder this time. Emma felt a palpable shift in Joe as he watched her, a mixture of frustration and patience on his face. Emma, she took a sharp breath. What? Do you want to just say it? Whatever it is that you're holding back. Lucy and Sam paused, their eyes darting between their parents, sensing the sudden tension. But Emma couldn't crumble now, not in front of the children. Let us just enjoy our Sundays. Okay? She forced out, rallying her composure. Everything can wait. But Joe didn't relent. His gaze was unwavering. Can't, Emma. Not forever. The truth hung in the air, heavy like ripe fruit ready to drop from its branch. Emma's heart raced as she looked at the children, then back to Joe. Maybe I just need a little more time, as if the universe were testing her. The phone buzzed ferociously once more, demanding attention. Emma glanced at the screen, her stomach flipping at the name flashing across it. Maybe now is the time, she thought as she felt like she was standing on a precipice. But would she step forward or take a step back? With uncertainty crashing around her, Emma's world teetered on the brink of change. The question echoed in her mind. What was she truly afraid of? As she stared at the phone, a new message glowed ominously, one that might just hold the key to everything. What was in store for them next? Emma stood frozen, her heart racing as the latest message flashed across her screen. There it was again, the looming threat wrapped in sharp, concise words. The truth will come out. Choose wisely. It felt like a noose tightening around her future. She blinked, fiercely fighting back tears that threatened to spill over. One look at Joe, and she saw the concern mingling with determination in his eyes. She couldn't keep hiding, not from him, not from her kids, not from herself any longer. Okay, she said finally, her voice low and shaky. It's time we talk. The laughter around the table paused. Sam looked up with wide eyes, his excitement dimmed. Lucy's mouth was still full of ice cream, her expression shifting to concern. Emma held her breath, the weight of the moment settling heavy upon her chest. Joe nodded, his features softening as if he understood the boiling sea of emotions within her. I'm here, Emma, he said gently, and his sincerity struck a chord deep inside her. Swallowing hard, she placed the phone down, unwilling to let it control her any further. The truth is, she started, grappling for the right words. I'm scared. Scared of trusting you. Scared of the past. Scared of what this could mean for our kids. The air grew thick with silence, tension poised between them like a tightly strung bow. Sam broke the stillness, his small voice breaking through. But you should trust Dad, he said innocently, and Emma's heart sank. Sam, she began, but Joe cut in, kneeling in front of the boy, his voice earnest. It's not about just trusting me, buddy. It's about rebuilding trust step by step. Lucy chimed in, like when we build a fort, we need to find the right pieces. Yes, exactly, Joe said, encouragement lighting his face. Takes time and it can get messy. But if we work together, we can create something amazing. Emma felt the warmth in the kitchen shift. The chaos of ice cream and laughter stepped aside, allowing a beam of hope to shine through. What if the truth I'm scared of could help us build that fort? She pondered aloud, glancing between Joe and her children. Then we face it head on, Joe replied, reaching for her hands. But only if you're ready to share it. Tears formed in Emma's eyes, but this time they were tinged with a newfound resolve. She could feel her children's innocent belief in family washing over her like a comforting tide. There's something I need to tell you all. Something that isn't just about me. She finally revealed, her voice trembling but stronger than before. That message I received, it felt like a warning. Joe's expression shifted, concern etching deeper lines on his face. What do you mean? He asked softly. I think someone knows about our past, she confessed, biting her lip to steady herself. And I'm worried. I don't want you to get hurt again, or have the kids face any repercussions from my decisions. Joe's eyes widened slightly, and the silence stretched on, thickening around them. Emma, he said firmly, we can face this together. Whatever it is, can't hold us captive anymore. Lucy, her big eyes shimmering, added, yeah, we're a team. We'll beat the bad guys together. Emma couldn't help but smile at her daughter's fierce spirit. You're right, Luce. We can stand strong together. Maybe the truth will set us free. Sam shouted, his energy bouncing off the walls. Yes, Emma exclaimed, feeling her heart lift as she glanced at Joe. Let us face whatever's out there. Together. As they all sat around the table, united by trust and laughter once again, Emma picked up her phone and read the ominous message one last time. This would be the moment when their journey truly began, the moment they chose to confront the shadows of the past together. Okay, Joe, Emma breathed deeply. Let us do this. Let us face whatever comes next as a family. With that, a thunderstorm of uncertainty crackled around them, but they chose to walk into the storm, hands intertwined. Nothing could take away the sensation of warmth radiating within, even as the clouds loomed heavily in the future. In that kitchen, amidst ice cream and laughter, they began crafting their new story, a story of resilience where love conquered fear. Emma couldn't stop the tears staining her cheeks, but when she looked at Joe, Sam, and Lucy, they were no longer filled with doubt. Instead, they were filled with hope. Together, Emma whispered, her heart steady, "This is just the beginning." Now, as their laughter echoed, Emma felt the walls around her heart finally start to crack, paving the way for light to filter through. They would rise together, hand in hand, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.